Welcome to the On Your Side podcast. I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell.
Susan, what was the last consumer transaction that you made?
Last consumer transaction.
Yeah. What was the last thing you bought?
I went to the grocery store yesterday.
Okay. All the goodies, basic groceries?
This was a super quick trip.
In and out.
In and out, under $100.
Oh, okay.
Amazing, right?
All right, yeah.
So I got enough stuff to make probably 4 dinners and then pack the kids' lunches and my lunch.
Oh, that's really good.
I know.
That's not bad at all.
Lots of sales.
I was going to say, are you big like a coupon or?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I buy things only if they are on sale,
Sure.
unless it's like the basic like gallon of milk.
Yeah.
But only on sale.
Yeah. Went shopping the other day with my wife, saw eggs, 18 count for $6, which
Ooh.
by today's standard
That's great now.
is not a bad deal.
A year ago, that was terrible.
I mean, exactly.
Did you load up?
I think it was a limit per one.
So you got the one year.
Yeah, I got the one. I was lucky to get that one.
How about you? Have you gone shopping, not for groceries, for something else fun lately?
Not fun.
Okay.
But I mean, like today, I got gas. Okay, went to Costco, got gas. I guess the point that I'm trying to make here is, people use credit cards for their most of their transactions. When's the last time you paid cash?
I haven't in forever.
If we looked in your wallet right now, how much cash is there?
0.
Really?
I never have cash. In fact, actually, this is kind of funny. My my in-laws for my birthday gave me some cash in a birthday card, and I'm very appreciative. That was very kind of them.
Yeah.
But I was kind of laughing because I was like, when do I use this? Like, do I save the cash and use that for something special?
Yeah.
Or do I use that for my regular bills and kind of do you have cash in your wallet? Are you going to make me look silly? What is that? Oh, Gary's got $100 bill in there. Lunch is on Gary
Susan
tonight, guys.
I haven't seen that in a long time.
I know.
Is that?
What is that? What are those numbers? A 0 after the 1?
Hey,
I don't understand.
Who's that $100 bill?
I don't know, Gary.
Come on. Really?
I don't know. Oh, gosh, you're putting me on the spot. Now I'm embarrassed.
It's not a president.
I'm embarrassed. I don't know.
Ben Franklin.
Okay.
Oh, boy. How about change?
I gotta go.
You got change?
So I have to keep some change because my son earns quarters for making the bed. So
Yeah.
I have to keep those.
So
around.
if you went into a store and you bought, like, say, some gum or Tic Tacs or whatever, and you just had to run into Circle K or QT and you run back out, how do you pay for that small purchase?
Tap.
Really?
Tap, tap, tap.
So when you make the tap like that, did you know that the convenience store has to pay a fee, a percentage of the amount back to the credit card financial company?
You don't think about it, but it makes sense.
Yeah. Can you imagine these companies made almost $150 billion by getting these I don't want to call it kickbacks because there is a fee for convenience. Somebody has to pay that fee. Convenience stores are tired of paying it. Restaurants are tired of paying it, and they're now making that fee for us to pay. So next time you're out eating,
tapping.
Next time you tap, I want you to look at the receipt. Basic interest rates for merchants. When I say merchants, that's restaurants, bars, clubs, gas stations, whatever. They have to pay anywhere between 1.5% and 3.5% per transaction.
It's significant.
So let's just say Susan takes her lovely family to Chili's because she wants a day out of cooking.
I like their chips and queso a lot.
Oh man, it's so good. Everything seems to be salty there, though.
Great.
Whenever I leave there, like an hour later, I can't drink enough
you
water.
You feel swollen.
I feel yes, I'm like 5 pounds heavier just with sodium. But let's just say you plunk down $75. Okay, you get a couple of kids meals, you get the queso, $75. Out of that $75, Chili's is going to have to pay Visa, MasterCard, Amex, whatever card you use. They're going to have to pay them $2.62. That's just for Susan's bill. So you know what they're doing now? They're putting that $2.62 on Susan's bill. And now
I would say they're lucky I'm in their restaurant spending my money, and they should absorb that.
Yeah. Well, for the that should be the cost of doing business, I think. But that's what we're talking about today. We got Chip Lupo from Wallet Hub.
You got it.
Why do I have a problem with that, Chip? You know what? I think I have you down as...
He even pulled out his wallet today for this podcast. He was thinking wallet.
Well, I asked you about your wallet,
I know.
and then I was thinking, what's in my wallet? You know what? I wrote down, I have a typo here, Wallet Hut. So that's why it's Wallet Hub. Sorry about that, Chip. That's why I had a little bit of, a little tongue tie there. Hey, how often do you use your credit card, Chip?
Pretty much all the time. The last time I paid cash was I paid our yard guy. I pay him cash because you see he has a partner and it's easy for them to split their proceeds. But for the most part, I use my credit card for pretty much everything. Now, what I do, of course, I use rewards cards, which means I get cash back or points on all the purchase, and you pay the balance off.
Sure. Do you use? Are you committed to using one card?
No. I have several that I use for specific purchases. I have one that gives rewards on gas, one that gives rewards on groceries, and one that gives a flat rate on all purchases. So
yeah.
There's a strategy involved.
You're kind of a credit card hacker. Yeah, you go through, not an actual hacker, but you use those kind of life hacks to make them work for you.
Yeah. Is that working for you?
So far, so good. Yeah.
Okay. Now listen, we're talking about these merchants kind of like flipping the script on us and making us pay for these fees. I have experienced this where I have looked at the bottom of the receipt and I have seen where it says credit card fee and it's whatever the fee is depending on the amount. But I'm like, oh, this is interesting. I'm getting stuck with this. Have you seen this, Susan? Have you looked at your receipt?
I guess I don't look that closely.
Well,
I also don't go out. Is this mostly restaurants that are adding on this fee?
Yes.
Okay. So I don't actually go out to restaurants a lot. Like that's just not a thing that's fitting into life right now for me.
But convenience stores are also, and they don't even do a percentage. They don't even care. They just say, a little note right there says if you're going to use a credit card, it's going to cost us 75 cents.
Ugh.
Yeah, so that kind of turns
That's
people off.
That's a significant percentage of
it
the
really
bill,
is.
potentially.
Yeah, particularly if you're buying gum, 75 cents on the top, it's going to be more than the gum.
Yeah.
But anyway, listen, you did some research on this, Chip, and it was kind of interesting. Just tell us what your survey revealed when it came to, the industry flipping this on us.
Well, what we found out is that consumers, 87% of them think that they're being nickeled and dimed when they're asked to pay the extra fee for credit card payment processing. Now, as you led off your conversation earlier, is that yes, every time there's swipe fees or interchange fees is what they're called, and that's a percentage that the credit card network gets back for the privilege of using the card. Now, what I found interesting here also is that 2 in 3 Americans say they would not use their credit card if they were charged a fee for doing so. Well, guess what? Every time you use your card, that fee is going somewhere now. Sometimes, your larger retailers, that's built into the price. If you go to Target or Walmart or some major chain restaurant, that's already built into the price, so you don't see that. Where you tend to see the fees being added on, yes, like at convenience stores, if you've ever been to the gas pump, you see a different price for cash versus credit. So all they're doing is just recouping the processing fee, which they're allowed to do. And I personally have no problem with that. Now, there's legislation that's been out now for 15 years or so that puts a limit on how much they can charge you for these fees. So basically, they're allowed to be reimbursed more or less for the cost of the processing fee, but they're not allowed to profit on it. But you do see this more and more with mom and pop restaurants, dry cleaners, things like that, where they'll tell you, or they're supposed to tell you up front that you're going to be charged 2%, 3%. Or I used to pay my utility bills online, and they tell you up front that they're charging you X number amount. And they're very transparent about it. And more companies should do this. They tell you, we're not profiting off of this. We're just simply being reimbursed for the cost of being able to pay for a credit card online.
You just made the bells go off in my head, and I am realizing now that the school that my girls go to, we just put that on a credit card and pay it right away. And there is a 3% fee for that.
There you go.
Yeah, you just made the bells go off, and I'm going, yeah, that sounds super familiar. So yeah, I've been paying this bill for a very long time.
Right.
It's so common that you kind of forget about it. So it's happening.
I don't know if they're trying to trick you. They're just trying to recoup from it. I guess they feel like they shouldn't have to pay that amount, and they just kind of transfer it on to you. My HOA does the exact same thing.
Yeah,
they charge a 3% fee for using a credit card to pay the account.
Yeah,
and it just drives me nuts.
So Chip, can I ask you a question? Are all of these credit card companies charging the same percentage, or is there one that's got a better deal? Should I be paying less if I'm using a MasterCard or Visa or Discover or Amex?
Well, you hit on what I was going to mention. So I'm glad you brought that up, Susan. Yeah, the credit card networks, the fees vary anywhere from, like Gary said, like 1.5% to 3.5% per transaction. American Express cards tend to charge much more, as do Discover cards, which if you go to a mom and pop store and they don't accept American Express cards, that's why.
And it's not up to the consumer to kind of, we don't really mandate the charge. It's whatever.
Nor does the retailer. It's set by the credit card company.
It's set by the credit card company. And if I want to use my Capital One card at a sports bar, whatever that Capital One is charging is what either the vendor's going to have to pay, either 1.5% to 2% to up to 3.5%, or they're going to flip it and put it on my receipt, so I have to pay it. I'm glad you brought up gas stations, because so many times you'll be driving down the road and you'll see, everything's digital now, with the neons and everything, but it'll say like $3.49 for a gallon of gas. You're like, oh, okay, that's not bad. And then all of a sudden it jumps up to $3.69. And
gotcha.
Yeah, well, that's because the lower one is the cash.
Yep.
You have to pay attention.
So maybe that's what I should use my birthday money on.
Gas?
Yeah.
Well,
if it's going to be a better value.
Usually it is. Yeah. But you know what, little secret? Just go to a warehouse like Sam's or Costco.
And then it's still a better value.
That's a much better value. Hey, what else did your survey find?
Well, we found that more than 3 in 5 people believe that it's unfair for the merchant to pass these payment processing fees on to their customer. But again, like we mentioned earlier, if you're at a major retailer, the price of the cost of the processing fee is already built into the price. So a lot of people don't know that. But Gary, to go back to what you're talking about with the gas and the cash versus the credit, if you've ever paid at the pump, it almost always asks you credit or debit. Now, if you pay with a debit, that's the same as paying cash. So you're going to get the cash price for that. Now, merchants are not allowed to charge any type of processing. In fact, it's illegal for a merchant to charge you a processing fee on a debit card transaction.
So if you,
I didn't know that.
Even though they look exactly like credit cards with the Visa sign and the little metal chip on it, and a lot of times smaller merchants will ask you, or the payment screen will ask you debit or credit.
So if you choose debit, that's like paying for cash because it's coming straight out of your checking account?
Yep.
I had no idea.
Now with gas purchases, and sometimes if you use a debit card, they'll put what's called, this is common with gas stations, and if you're booking hotels or renting cars, they'll put what's called a hold on your account.
Yes.
So if you're buying $30 of gas, you may see a $150 transaction, but that goes away once it's processed. They just want to make sure that the money's there by the time they process the transaction.
Did your survey reveal exactly how many people have experienced this this merchant fee or this credit card fee on their receipt? I mean, they go down there to leave a tip or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, what is that?" What did your survey reveal about that? 4
in 5 Americans have said that they have been charged a fee for paying with a credit card.
I bet it's 5 out of 5, and they just have no idea.
Maybe. Well, right, because every time you make a transaction, particularly if it's at a big box store or a major retailer, you're paying that transaction fee because they can more or less absorb that without having to tack it on.
Are people returning to that business after they realize that they're getting the fee?
I'm sure when they walk out of the store, they say, "Oh, I'm never coming back here again." But then as soon as they need something, they usually get over it pretty quickly.
Let me just tell you, there's an establishment that I had a fee on there.
Ooh.
And this was probably a year ago. I've never been back.
Wow.
Yeah.
You got that frustrated with the fee?
Yeah, it was a big bill too. And I'm like, I'm not.
And it was a percentage, not
Yes,
just a flat,
it was a percentage.
Okay, wow.
So I paid in cash, and because I was like, this is so unfair. It just rubbed me wrong. I didn't know. I mean, there was no signs or anything that said anything in advance. If you use a credit card, you're going to get charged a certain percentage. I didn't see. I mean, at least give me a little bit of warning.
So how did this transaction happen? You tried to pay with a card. You initially handed over a card, realized it was going to be more expensive, and you said, cancel that transaction. Here's some cash.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah. But I didn't know until the last minute.
Yeah.
So
you had already paid with a card. You saw it on the receipt then.
I don't know exactly how I saw it, or if the waitress told me there's going to be a fee for using one or the other.
Or it's been on your bill. It may have just been on the bill before you pay.
Oh, maybe it was on the bill. Yeah, you're right, Chip. Maybe it was on the bill, and then I saw that, and I'm like, forget this.
Yeah. Here's the cash.
I'm paying cash, and you know what? Wow. They lost one little customer. Big deal. I used to go there all the time, too. Not
They're
anymore.
wondering where Gary Harper is. They're like,
you know what?
This guy used to be our best customer.
Fix that fee, and maybe I'll return. Maybe they're listening.
You should give him another chance.
You think so?
I don't know. Or just you've got $100 bill in your wallet. Maybe you could just go there with your cash.
Well, that's just the one I showed you.
Oh, even more. So you could go there every day.
Well, Gary, you'll have more trouble getting your change counted back to you than it would be quicker if you just use a credit card.
You're right.
You're going to not know. It's like, okay, your bill was $49.54. Give me a few minutes just to calculate how much money I'm supposed to give back.
Well, you've got two things going on there. Number one, nobody knows how to count change back anymore. It's like you put Arabic in front of them, and they throw their hands up. And then, oh gosh, I forgot the second one.
Well, then we've got the coin shortage. That was a couple of years ago, right?
Yes.
I think that's kind of it resolved-ish, sort of.
I don't know. I think there still is a little bit of a shortage.
And then are we getting rid of pennies?
It costs more to make a penny. We've done this before, right? Yeah. It takes a lot more to make a penny than the penny itself. Get rid of it all. All right. Hey, did we miss anything on the survey that you want to talk about, Chip?
Well, guys, I think we covered everything. Again, this statistic where 2 in 3 Americans say they're not going to use a credit card, they're charging a fee. Can't emphasize enough. You're already paying it, whether you know it or not, whether they tack it on to the end of the bill or if it's already baked into the cost. No.
So, and really, the only way to avoid it is just pay with cash.
Pay with cash or debit card.
Yep, there you go. Life lesson here. Look at the receipt before you pay. You might really learn something. So, all right. Hey, Chip, if people want to find out more about you or Wallet Hub, where do they go?
Well, just log on to wallethub.com. We have a number of related surveys. And, of course, we're a personal finance website. So if you're in the market for a credit card or if you need some kind of credit advice on how to better balance your budget, just log on to wallethub.com. We've got it all out there for you.
All right, Chip, you are a friend of the On Your Side podcast. You've been on before. You're on with us again, and I'm sure we'll see you again in the future then, okay?
I look forward to it, guys. Thank you so much.
Have a great one.
You too.
The On Your Side podcast is produced by Brad Denny. Our audio engineer and editor is Todd Martin. Segment producer is Colin Stanton. And I'm Gary Harper.
And I'm Susan Campbell. If you have a problem you can't resolve, maybe we can. Send us a message through azfamily.com or our AZ Family mobile app. Look for the On Your Side section and leave us a message. Thanks so much for listening to the On Your Side podcast. And if you like it, leave us a review. We'll see you next week.
On Your Side is on Good Morning Arizona every weekday morning at 6:45 and 7 o'clock. And every weekday evening on Good Evening Arizona at 4 and 5 o'clock. You can also catch it on Arizona's Family News at 9 on 3TV every weeknight.